Top 10 fruits you should be eating if you are diabetic. Hello, Diabetes Science Hub. Imagine waking up each morning with energy, clarity, and confidence, knowing you're taking control of your health, even with diabetes. Today, we're diving into one of the most critical topics for anyone managing blood sugar, the best fruits to eat if you're diabetic. Did you know that over 37 million Americans, 11% of the population, live with diabetes, and globally, that number skyrockets to half a billion? Even more staggering, 88% of adults have some degree of insulin resistance, meaning this isn't just a concern for diabetics, it's a wake-up call for all of us. Fruits are often hailed as nature's candy, packed with vitamins and flavor. But not all fruits are created equal for blood sugar control. For decades, we've been told to eat more fruits and vegetables as if they're interchangeable. But today we'll unravel why that advice needs a serious update. We'll explore which fruits can stabilize your blood sugar, which ones to enjoy sparingly, and why some popular choices might be doing more harm than good. From debunking myths about glycemic index to revealing the hidden dangers of fructose, this video is your roadmap to making smarter fruit choices. Whether you're managing type 2 diabetes, supporting a loved one, or simply aiming to prevent insulin resistance, stick with me. By the end of this 20-minute journey, you'll have a clear, science-backed plan to enjoy fruits without derailing your health. Let's get started. Why fruits matter for diabetics. Let's start with the basics. Fruits are loaded with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, but they also contain carbohydrates which can affect blood sugar. For diabetics, the goal is to choose fruits that provide nutritional benefits without causing sharp blood sugar spikes or overloading the liver with fructose. Unlike vegetables, which are typically low in carbs, fruits vary widely in their sugar content, glycemic index, and metabolic impact. Understanding these differences is key to making informed choices. The glycemic index, what it is and why it's flawed. You've probably heard of the glycemic index, or GI, which measures how quickly a food raises blood sugar compared to pure glucose, which has a GI of 100. Foods are classified as low GI, below 55, medium 55, 70, or high above 70. For example, white bread has a GI of 75, while avocados are around 15. Sounds straightforward, right? Not so fast. The GI has limitations, especially for low-carb foods. To test GI, researchers feed people enough of a food to provide 50 grams of net carbs minus fiber, since fiber isn't absorbed. For bread, that's about 2 slices or 100 grams, which is realistic. But for avocados, which have just 2 grams of net carbs per 100 grams, you'd need to eat 2,500 grams over 5 pounds, or a dozen avocados to hit 50 grams of carbs. That's impractical, so GI measurements for low-carb foods like avocados, olives, or tomatoes are often estimated, making comparisons inconsistent. Another issue is that GI ranges are based on the outdated idea that we should eat 300–400 grams of carbs daily, mostly from starches. For the 88% of people with insulin resistance, these ranges don't apply. Instead, if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, aim for a GI below 20 for low, 20, 40 for medium, and avoid anything over 40. This stricter scale better supports metabolic health. Glycemic load, a better measure. To address GI's shortcomings, experts developed the glycemic load, or GL, which factors in both the GI and the amount of carbs consumed. You calculate GL by multiplying the GI by the grams of net carbs and dividing by 100. For meals or snacks, aim for a GL below 10, low 10, 20 medium, or avoid above 20 high. For example, let's compare two foods. A 100-gram serving of rice has 31 grams of net carbs and a GI of 98, giving a GL of 30, definitely high. Now take 48 grams of dates, or about 2 dried dates, with 36 grams of carbs and a GI of 42. That's a GL of 17, which is medium but still too high for a tiny portion that's barely a snack. Compare that to 100 grams of avocado, 2 grams of net carbs, GI of 15, and a GL of zero point 0.3. The difference is night and day. The fructose problem. Here's where things get tricky. Not all carbs are equal in fructose. The sugar that makes fruit sweet is a major concern. Table sugar is 50% glucose and 50% fructose, and most fruits have a similar ratio, though some like apples can have even more fructose. Glucose raises blood sugar directly and requires insulin to process, but fructose is metabolized by the liver, much like alcohol. In excess, fructose overwhelms the liver, turning into fat and contributing to fatty liver disease and insulin resistance. For example, 100 grams of Honeycrisp apples have 15 grams of carbs, mostly fructose, with just 1.7 grams of fiber. Compare that to raspberries, 12 grams of total carbs, but only 4 grams of sugar and 7 grams of fiber, meaning the net carbs are low and the fructose impact is minimal. Fiber slows digestion, reducing blood sugar spikes, but apples don't have enough to offset their high fructose content. Debunking fruit myths. Let's tackle some common misconceptions. Many sources, including popular websites, claim fruits like dates or apples are safe for diabetics because of their low GI. For instance, Medical News Today states dates have a GI of 42, making them low GI and suitable for diabetics. But 2 dates, 48 grams, pack 36 grams of carbs, pure sugar with a GL of 17. That's not safe for blood sugar control. Similarly, apples are often praised for their fiber, but 100 grams of Honeycrisp apples have just 1.7 grams of fiber compared to 7 grams in raspberries. Claims that apples regulate blood sugar are misleading. They're simply less harmful than jelly beans or sugary cereal, but they still stress the liver and raise blood sugar. How carbs affect insulin. To understand why fruit choice matters, let's talk insulin. Your body tightly regulates blood sugar, keeping it between 3 to 5 grams in your bloodstream at any time, about a teaspoon. If you eat 100 grams of carbs, 400 calories, your body must process that through the bloodstream quickly to prevent spikes above 150 mg/dl. This requires insulin, which shuttles glucose into cells or stores it as fat. For diabetics, high insulin levels worsen insulin resistance, perpetuating a vicious cycle. The total carb intake is the biggest driver of insulin demand, followed by fructose, which harms the liver long-term. GI and fiber are secondary factors affecting the speed of blood sugar swings, but not the overall insulin load. For example, eating 100 grams of rice, GL30, or dates, GL17, requires far more insulin than 100 grams of raspberries, GL1.8. The metabolic health continuum. Metabolic health isn't black and white. Only about 10% of people are truly insulin sensitive, while another 10% have type 2 diabetes. The remaining 80% fall somewhere in between with varying degrees of insulin resistance. If you're closer to the diabetic end, you need to be stricter with carbs and fructose. If you're metabolically healthy, you can be more flexible, but understanding these principles helps you stay that way. To gauge your metabolic health, consider blood tests like fasting glucose, HbA1c, or insulin levels. Resources like online courses or dietitian consultations can help you interpret these markers and tailor your diet. The best fruits for diabetics. Now let's get to the good stuff, the top fruits for diabetics. We'll start with the absolute best, which might surprise you, then move to sweet options for when you crave nature's candy. Avocado GI, 15 GL 0.3. Technically, a fruit avocados have 2 grams of net carbs per 100 grams with 7 grams of fiber and minimal sugar. They're rich in healthy fats, keeping you full without spiking blood sugar. Enjoy half an avocado in salads or smoothies. Olives GI 15 GL 0.3. Another savory fruit. Olives have 3 grams of net carbs and no sugar. They're perfect as a snack or in Mediterranean dishes, offering heart-healthy fats. Tomatoes GI 15 GL 0.3. With 3 grams of net carbs and low fructose, tomatoes are great in sauces, salads, or as a snack. Choose fresh or low-sodium canned versions. Top sweet fruits for diabetics. When you want something sweet, these fruits strike a balance between flavor and blood sugar control. Always watch portion sizes, stick to 100-150 grams per serving. Raspberries, GI 25 GL 1.8, with 4 grams of sugar, 7 grams of fiber, and 12 grams of total carbs per 100 grams. Raspberries are a superstar. Their high fiber slows sugar absorption, and their GL is under 2. Enjoy a handful daily, even on a ketogenic diet. Blackberries GI 20 GL 1.5. Similar to raspberries, blackberries have 5 grams of sugar, 5 grams of fiber, and a GL of 1.5. They're low in fructose and versatile in smoothies or as a snack. Grapefruit GI 25 GL 2.0. At 7 grams of sugar and 2 grams of fiber per 100 grams, grapefruit is a refreshing choice. A half grapefruit is about 150 grams, so keep portions modest to stay under a GL of 3. Apricots GI 30 GL 3.0, with 9 grams of sugar and 2 grams of fiber. Apricots are slightly higher in carbs, but still low GI. One medium apricot 50 grams is a safe treat. Blueberries GI 50 GL 6.0. Blueberries have 10 grams of sugar and 2 grams of fiber per 100 grams. Their higher GI make them less ideal, but a small 50-gram serving keeps the GL under 3. Cherries GI 20 GL 3.0. Cherries have 13 grams of sugar and 2 grams of fiber with a GL of 3. Limit to 10 cherries, about 100 grams, to avoid fructose overload. Lemons, limes GI 20 GL 1.2, with 3 grams of sugar and 3 grams of fiber. Lemons and limes are perfect for flavoring water dressings or dishes. Use freely without worrying about blood sugar. Practical tips for incorporating these fruits: portion control. Stick to 100-150 grams of sweet fruits per serving, about a small handful. For avocados, half is enough. Pair with protein or fat combined fruits, with nuts, cheese, or Greek yogurt to slow sugar absorption. Timing matters. Eat fruits after a low-carb meal to minimize blood sugar spikes. Monitor your response. Use a glucometer to see how specific fruits affect your blood sugar. Everyone's body is different. Avoid fruit juices, concentrate sugars, and lack fiber, spiking blood sugar rapidly. What to avoid? Steer clear of high sugar, high fructose fruits like dates, 36 grams of sugar per 48 grams. Apples, 15 grams of sugar per 100 grams, or bananas, 12 grams of sugar per 100 grams. Dried fruits and fruit smoothies are also problematic due to concentrated sugars. If you crave these, have a tiny portion occasionally, but prioritize raspberries, blackberries, or grapefruit. Why this matters long term. Choosing the right fruits isn't just about today's blood sugar reading. It's about protecting your liver, reducing insulin resistance, and preventing complications like heart disease or neuropathy. By focusing on low-carb, low-fructose fruits, you're investing in a healthier future. If you're unsure where you stand, consult a healthcare provider or dietitian to create a personalized plan. Diabetes Science Hub. You now have a science-backed guide to the best fruits for managing diabetes. From nutrient-packed avocados to sweet, low-sugar raspberries, these choices empower you to enjoy nature's bounty without compromising your blood sugar. Remember, prioritize low glycemic load, watch fructose, and keep portions modest. By making these small changes, you're not just managing diabetes, you're reclaiming control over your health. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs this knowledge. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon to join our community of Diabetes Science Hub. Every week, we dive into practical, life-changing tips to help you thrive, so you never miss a beat. Want to learn more about metabolic health or blood sugar management? Check out our playlist link below and let us know in the comments which fruit you're excited to try. Thank you for watching, and here's to smarter choices and a healthier you. See you in the next video.